Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are going to be talking about the new Hexblade Patron Warlock, who is one of the new Arcane subclasses out of Unearthed Arcana. We're going to be looking at this, all the changes. We're going to be comparing it to the old Hexblade that came out of 5th edition, which was in a supplement. And we're going to be grading it as well. So a lot to go over, a lot to go through. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned. All right, before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. Don't forget to share this video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, let's talk about the Hexblade Warlock. Here it is right here from the PDF of the Unearthed Arcana Arcane subclasses. So, forge a pact with a cursed blade. So here is my first impression of this. A lot of it has nothing to do with the blade. Especially when you first begin. And there were pieces of the old Warlock that they put way out in front. So, you've made a pact with a sentient magic weapon and the cursed forces contained within its blade. Such a weapon could be the sword sheath at your side, or it could be a manifestation of an infamous magic weapon like Black Razor or the Sword of Kaz. I don't know what. You know, they just want to put those in there because they're nostalgic. There was no reason for that. That is completely and totally unoriginal. And you could tell I'm not a super big fan of this particular subclass. I didn't like what they did. All right, so they give you some design notes. So let's get into the meat of this. At 3rd level, you get the Hexblade spell. So Arcane Vigor, Hex, Shield, Wrathful Smite is what you get at 3rd level. Bestow Curse, Conjure Barrage at 5th level. Freedom of Movement, Staggering Smite, Animate Objects, and Steel Wind Strike. All great spells, all awesome spells. Let's take a look at the old one. Here is the old one here. And essentially it is not the same. So at 1st level here, we got Shield and Wrathful Smite. There were no 1st levels for this one, but there are a few things. They give you Hex, so you don't have to prepare Hex. You just get it automatically. We got Wrathful Smite and Shield. Those are both up here. At 3rd level, or 2nd level, I'm sorry, we got Blur and Branding Smite. Branding Smite is gone. Blur is now gone. Those are not on this list. Then we got Blink and Elemental Weapon. Those are also now gone, not on this list. Then we got Phantasmal Killer and Staggering Smite. Staggering Smite is here. Phantasmal Killer is gone. And lastly, we got Banishing Smite and Cone of Cold. Banishing Smite is gone, and so is Cone of Cold. But we did get Arcane Vigor, which is a really good spell. We did get Bestow Curse. Great spell. Conjure Barrage, that's okay. Freedom of Movement, yes, that's pretty good. Going to be needed. Animate Objects is awesome. And Steel Wind Strike, as you all know, is one of my favorite spells in the game. So far, more spells. The big difference here is you can take this at 1st level, whereas you can't take a patron at 1st level. You take them at 3rd level now because it's a subclass. All right, so we get the Hexblade's Curse at 3rd level. What does the old Hexblade's Curse look like? So here it is right here. Starting at 1st level, you gain the ability to place a Baleful Curse on someone as a bonus action. Choose one creature within 30 feet. Target is cursed for a minute. So you gain a bonus to damage against the cursed target equal to your proficiency bonus. You make a critical hit on a 19 or 20, and if the cursed target dies, you regain hit points equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier, which got better as you went. So, what does it look like now? It's bonus action still. Something within 30 feet. Still lasts for a minute. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, whereas there was no limit You can't use this feature again until you finish a short or long rest. So, so there is that. You got to use it essentially once an hour. Now you get it a number of times a day, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So that's a little odd, I think. Hex, you can move around. This one, you really couldn't move around. It was just short or long rest. So they give you some extra uses. Okay, so far so good. When you cast a spell using a spell slot that curses a target, like they should have said like Hex, but this is Hex, you can use your Hexblade's Curse as part of the casting that spell instead of taking a bonus action. When you do so, the target of the spell is the target of your Hexblade's Curse. Okay, so you get a free use with the Hexblade's Curse. So far, I don't see anything in here that has anything to do with a sword of any kind. All right, so you get Hungering Hex when the target cursed by your Hexblade's Curse drops to 0 hit points. You regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus your charisma modifier, which should be around 8 points. And this right here, if the cursed target dies, you regain hit points equal to your Warlock level plus your charisma modifier. So that actually will outpace this Hungering Hex right here. Then you get Accursed Shield. While you are not wearing armor or wielding a shield, you gain a +2 bonus to AC while you are within 10 feet of the target cursed by your Hexblade. I really wish that they had included Blur in this. That is something new. That is not in here. You got Armor of Hexes. So at 10th level, your Hex grows more powerful. A target cursed by your Hexblade's Cursed hits you with an attack roll. You can use your reaction roll d6 on a 4 or higher. The attack missed you. So that one is a little bit different than a +2 to armor class while you are within 10 feet. But it is at 3rd level. So if you've got mage armor on and a high dex, you could essentially have a 16 armor class and then have an 18 armor class when you are next to or within 10 feet of your cursed target. But you can't wear armor and you can't wield a shield. You could also have some bracers on, or, you know, a ring of protection or a cloak of protection. All right. In addition, at 3rd level, we get Unyielding Will. So when you succeed on a saving throw to maintain concentration, each creature of your choice in a 10-foot emanation originating from you takes 2d6 damage. That's every time. Oh, no, it is not. Once you use this benefit, you cannot do so again until the start of your next turn. So that's once a turn. Basically, it's once a round. In addition, when you fail a saving throw to maintain concentration, you can choose to succeed instead, and you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your Warlock level. That's pretty good. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until you use a long rest. So very rarely are you going, especially if you take some certain feats, very rarely are you going to lose concentration. And so whenever you succeed, everything's going to take, each creature of your choice takes roughly 7 points of necrotic damage. And then you get a freebie. All right, so let's look at so far we are up to Hex Warrior, which does not appear in the new Hexblade. And let's take a look. We're going to move. So let me say this, the old Hexblade Warrior I gave an A to. So we're gonna reserve judgment on that one until I get to it. So the Hex Warrior is gone, which allowed you to acquire training necessary to effectively arm yourself. You gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. That's gone. No more. So and really they're encourage you not to wear armor and not to wield shields, which is, I think, just dumb. It's a Hexblade Patron. This is supposed to be the Hex Warrior. So the influence of your patron allows you to mystically channel your will through a particular weapon. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one weapon that you are proficient and lacks the two-handed property. When you attack with that weapon, use your charisma modifier instead of your strength or dex for the attack. So you get this at first level. And when do we get this at all? Do we ever get this with this class? And we get Armor of Hexes. We get Malign Brutality. We don't get it. We don't get it. So, where is that now? Where is that? Well, that is now found under the Warlock, and it is found under Pact of the Blade. So if we go down to the invocation, Pact of the Blade, as a bonus action, you conjure a weapon in your hand, simple or martial of your choice, with which you bond, or create a bond with a magic weapon you touch. You can't bond with a magic weapon if somebody else is attuned to it, okay? You have proficiency in that weapon, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus. Whenever you attack with that weapon, you can use your charisma modifier instead of strength or dex, and you cause the weapon to deal necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage, or its normal damage type, your choice. And your bond with the weapon ends if you use this feature's bonus again. So that is now in Pact of the Blade instead of as part of the Hexblade Patron. It's now I don't understand that. But anyway, so that particular thing is gone. That you have to take that now to really be a Hex Warrior. Okay, and we're going to talk about invocations that you're going to have to take with this. All right, at 6th level, as a the Hexblade, at 6th level, we get the Accursed Spectre. This is the old one. So you can curse the soul of a person you slay, temporary binding service. When you slay a humanoid, you can cause a spirit to rise as a specter. The statistics which are in the monster manual. When the specter appears, it gains temporary hit points equal to half your warlock level. Roll initiative for the specter, which it has its own. It obeys your verbal commands, and then it remains in your service. Once you bind a specter with this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Okay. What do we get at 6th level? Not that. Something new. So we get Harrowing Hex. After you cast a spell of 1st level or higher, that is a casting time of a action, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action. That is if you have... Well, so because of the Hexblade's Curse ability, you can... As you cast that spell, you can put your Hexblade's Curse on the thing instead of using your bonus action. And then once you've cast that spell with Harrying Hex, you can make an attack with the weapon as a bonus action. And Hindering Curse, so you can cast a spell and make an attack. That's basically what it comes down to. And if you happen to have Pact of the Blade, you're adding some bonus damage equal to your Charisma modifier. When you hit the target, so we got Hindering Curse. When you hit the target cursed by your Hexblade's Curse with an attack roll, that's any attack roll. Eldritch Blast is an attack roll. The target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. Not the next saving throw that you force it to make, the next saving throw. So this power is massively powerful. Because that's not limited. That's any time when you hit the target cursed with an attack roll. Anytime you do that, disadvantage on the next saving throw. That is probably one of the... That in itself is an S. And then we have Inescapable Hex. When the target of your Hexblade Curse ends its turn 30 feet or further from you, you can move up to your speed straight towards the target. So all that stuff happens at 6th level. And the only thing that we got at 6th level here in the old Hexblade was the Cursed Spectre. So there's a whole bunch of extra stuff we got. I still don't see any crits on 19 or 20. At 10th level, we get the Armor of Hexes. We also got that here. So the target cursed by your Hexblade hits you with an attack roll. You can use your reaction to roll a d4. On a 4 or higher, it misses. regardless of the roll, and that's whenever. Now with this one, when you take damage from the target cursed by your Hexblade's cursed, you take a reaction to reduce the damage by an amount equal to your Warlock level. So if you're level 10, you reduce it by 10. And that's a reaction, so that's essentially once a round. And so this was whenever, this was a miss. Now, and I think this armor of hexes is better because it's a 50% miss chance. Now it's just a reduction of damage. All right. Then we get Masterful Hex. At 14th level, we get Master of Hexes in the old Hexblade. You can spread your Hexblade's curse from a slain creature to another one. When the creature cursed by your Hexblade's curse dies, you can apply the curse to a different creature you can see within 30 feet, provided you are not incapacitated. When you apply the curse in this way, you don't regain hit points from the death of the previously cursed creature, which then makes this kind of go away. This part right here, go away. And essentially turns it into Hex, because that's what you can do with Hex. Now, with the new one, we get 3 more abilities. We get Accursed Critical. Any attack roll you make against the target cursed by your Hexblade's curse scores a crit hit on a 19 or 20. That is now a 14th level power. I guess Wizards felt that this part right here that you got at first level was really 14th level. I disagree with that, but you got a whole bunch of other stuff by then, so I think that's okay. Then you get Explosive Hex. When you deal damage to the target cursed by your Hexblade, you can cause your curse to explode with sinister energy. The target and each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation originating from the target takes 3d6 necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage, your choice, and their speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. Once you use this benefit, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest unless you extend a packed magic slot to restore the use. So that's a one-time, and then it's not that much damage either. So maybe you use it to take some things out that needed to be taken out, but it's only like 11 points of damage. And then Hex Restoration, you regain 1 expended use of your Hexblade's curse when you finish a short rest, or use your Magical Cunning feature, which is a feature that the Warlock base kit has. So what that means is you get your Hexblade's curse a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, which should be 4, 3 to 4 to 5, and then you get an extra use of it here, or when you use your Magical Cunning. And Magical Cunning, if you didn't know, which is right here, at the end, you can do a ritual for a minute. At the end of it, you regain an expended packed spell slot, but no more than a number equal to half your maximum, rounded up. Once you use this feature, rounded up. So if you have 3 slots, you get 2 slots back. Once you use this feature, you cannot do so again until a long rest. So if you use this, then you get a Hexblade's curse use back. Okay, what do I think about all? That's basically it. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to go along with this to make this good. So there is a huge sacrifice in armor class on this because of Accursed Shield. So you're going to need to take, first off, for this to be viable, and right now, right off the bat, if I just took this without the correct invocations with it, I would give it a B-. Now let's talk about if you take the correct invocations with it. So we are talking about Armor of Shadows, which gives you Mage Armor, which gives you an AC of 13 plus your Dex modifier. And it sounds to me like this Warlock should have a pretty high Dex because they're not wearing armor. So that would give you, if you had a 16 Dex, that would give you a 16 armor class, plus the Accursed Shield would give you an 18, and then you probably could bump that up a little bit more, depending. And it might even be even more if you had Bracers, Cloak of Protection, or Ring of Protection. All right, so that one I think is definitely an absolute. You need all of the blade stuff because this one doesn't get an extra attack either. Thirsting Blade, I believe, was part of... Oh, no, it was part of the Pact of the Warrior. It was part of the Pact of the Warrior. So we're going to need to take all the blade stuff to make this viable. So this first one is Devouring Blade. You need to be 12th level and have Thirsting Blade. And then the extra attack of your Thirsting Blade invocation confers 2 extra attacks rather than 1. So that means if you make an attack, you get 2 extra attacks. So you're making 3 around. Eldritch Mind probably would be pretty useful. Eldritch Smite definitely would be useful, although once per turn when you hit a creature with your packed weapon, you can spend a packed slot to deal extra damage, to deal an extra 1d8 plus another 1d8 per level of the spell slot. And you can give the target the prone condition if it's huge or smaller. So that's pretty good. Fiendish Vigor, maybe, but I would say... Nope. Life Drinker, probably once per turn when you hit a creature with your packed weapon, you deal an extra 1d6 radiant, necrotic, or psychic damage to the creature, and you can expend 1 of your hit point dice to roll it again and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your con modifier. So that might not be too bad. Pact of the Blade is definitely one you need to take with this. So that gives you the extra damage. And then we've got Thirsting Blade, which gives you an extra attack. So I would say Pact of the Blade, then Thirsting Blade, and then probably Life Drinker, and then the other one, which was Eldritch Smite and Devouring Blade. And then you do need, for armor, you do need to take Armor of Shadows. Now, one thing about this Warlock versus the other Warlock is the number of invocations. So, by the time you're 10th level, you're getting 7 invocations. And I can easily get all of those invocations by then. So, by the time you're 12th level, you're going to have 8 invocations. So, so let's see. Let's count these out then. So, we've got Armor of Shadows is 1. We've got Devouring Blade is 2. We've got Eldritch Smite is 3. We've got Life Drinker is 4. We've got Pact of the Blade is 5. Thirsting and Blade is 6. So that's only 6. So you got room for 2 more. So you could take the False Life one or something else. So all in all, what do I think about this? With all of that stuff, I would give this an A. And the reason I would give this an A is you do have to take all of that stuff, and this one right here is absolutely worth it. Giving something disadvantage on a saving throw is massive. Now, the reason they put this in here is so that you can use like Bestow Curse or one of your Wrathful Smite or something like that and force them to to fail a saving throw. But the real magic of that comes when you've got a sorcerer in the party or a bard in the party or a wizard in the party who can cast something that will just shut them off. Incapacitate them, stun them, knock them out, put them unconscious, teleport them to another realm, restrain them, whatever. So you slap this hindering curse on them, and then they get disadvantage on it, especially things for strength saving throws. So if I were to do this, because a lot of the strength saving throw type of spells are pretty nasty, and so if I were to slap this on them, I would be looking for one of my party members to be using something like a strength spell, a strength saving throw spell, if they had it, or some kind of wisdom, charisma, or intelligence one to really knock them out. Getting ready to move them, you know, that's okay. Harrowing Hex, making an extra attack when you cast a spell, that's pretty good. That gives you a little extra. The Armor of Hex is not great. And then the 14th level powers, I don't agree that Accursed Critical is a 14th level power. Explosive Hex definitely isn't 14th, but you get all these. You get all these at 14th level. So if you take the 6 invocations that I said, this would be an A. And the level 6 Malign Brutality powers are extremely powerful. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody